God created the human body as a highly tuned physical engine of immense power, but it needs fuel to keep running. This fuel is known as food. God created in us an appetite for food, known as hunger, to ensure that the body gets fueled. Food satisfies our appetites and provides us energy as part of nature's balance to keep life moving. So why would someone choose to go hungry? In modern times, we are conditioned to eat 3 times a day. We are constantly reminded that a hearty breakfast is the foundation of the day. Eat so that you may be strong. We were taught in school to eat 3 full meals a day and exercise to be strong. So why skip meals? The world calls not eating dieting, and often does it to lose weight or for health reasons, but some abstain from eating for spiritual reasons. This is referred to in the Bible as fasting. A fast is typically undertaken for a defined period to achieve a spiritual goal. Consider the following example from the Old Testament. Once a year, Jewish faithful were required to fast. Leviticus 16 verse 29 states, "And this shall be a statute forever for you. In the 7th month, on the 10th day of the month, you shall afflict your souls and do no work at all, whether it be one of your own country or a stranger that sojourneth among you." The Yom Kippur fast, because this fast was observed on the Day of Atonement, is known as the Yom Kippur fast, the phrase meaning Day of Atonement. God required his people to fast once a year on the Day of Atonement. Everyone fasted. Why everyone? Because God wished for all to remember the solemn experience of their salvation on the Day of Atonement. The high priest entered the Holy of Holies and offered the blood of an animal in exchange for the sins of all. Leviticus 16 verse 4 states, "And he shall wash his flesh with water in the holy place, and put on his garments, and come forth, and offer his burnt offering and the burnt offering of the people, and make an atonement for himself and for the people." Because the Day of Atonement dealt with the sins of the nation, everyone fasted to identify with the high priest who sacrificed a lamb for the forgiveness of their sins. Jesus told his disciples, "When you fast," Matthew 6 verses 16 to 18 reads, "When you fast, do not look somber like the hypocrites, for they disfigure their faces to show others they are fasting. Truly I tell you, they have received their reward in full. But when you fast, anoint your head and wash your face so that it will not be obvious to others that you are fasting, but only to your Father who is unseen, and your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you. When you give up foods, both pleasurable and necessary, you catch God's attention." Even back then, Jesus warned us not to flaunt our fasting. Jesus cautioned his disciples not to fast for public acclaim. The fact that he said, "Whenever you fast," indicates that he considers fasting a legitimate spiritual discipline. Fasting is temporarily abstaining from a bodily desire, usually food, in favor of a spiritual need. Instead of eating, you dedicate yourself to secret prayer, seeking God's intervention in the realm. However, if your goal in avoiding food is so that others praise how spiritual you appear, then their approval will be your reward. Concerns about fasting. If you have never fasted before, the idea of going without food for any period is likely daunting. People are concerned about a variety of issues because we are programmed to eat 3 times a day. Many wonder if they will feel hungry and if the hunger pains will be painful. Others have different concerns, such as whether they can endure. They do not want to embark on a journey they cannot complete. What if you see a TV commercial suggesting that a chocolate bar will help you get through an afternoon energy slump? Others worry about how their friends will perceive them if they fast. Will my friends think I'm strange if they find out I'm fasting? The answer is simple. You do not fast to impress your friends, and you usually do not even tell them. As previously mentioned, Jesus said, "When you fast, anoint your head and wash your face so that it will not be obvious to others that you are fasting, but only to your Father who is unseen, and your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you openly." Matthew 6 verse 17 and 18. Jesus was reminding us not to make an outward show of our religious devotion to God. Instead, fasting is a private commitment between you and God. You can fast in private and tell no one. Other times, you might participate in a public fast, such as with your church or another individual to address a problem. Ezra fasted with 4,000 people, and Esther asked all Jewish believers to fast for divine intervention. Every year in May, Christians are invited to participate in the National Day of Prayer and Fasting. What fasting is, Fasting is not the same as dieting, nor is it about eliminating food for health reasons. There are many types of fasts for spiritual reasons, and there are many reasons to fast and pair the experience with prayer. Fasting is a biblical discipline that can help anyone improve their spiritual fitness and become a prayer warrior for God. Some believe that Christians don't require discipline. However, we build our strength through spiritual exercises. We must remember that we are soldiers of Christ. A good soldier is proficient in a variety of disciplines. Fasting is just one of the many disciplines of a Christian. Jesus told his disciples that when you pray for others, whether for your church or for people's salvation, Satan will oppose you. Fasting, like climbing a mountain, is demanding, both spiritually and physically. Embark on this adventure with a clear understanding of what you are doing, and with the knowledge that the path ahead may be challenging, but the rewards will be well worth it. Start small. If this is your first fast, God will honor your first step of faith, which may seem small to others, but will be a great step for you. God also cares about your heart's response during fasting. Your attitude is a very serious part of your fast. Just as when a man proposes to a woman, it is not the length of his proposal that gets a yes, but the heart behind it. So, when you begin to fast, don't worry about how long your fast should last. Just make sure your relationship with God is in good order. God knows everything. He understands and values the sincerity of your prayers more than their length. So, if you have never fasted before, start with a fast from skipping one meal. In the Old Testament, Jews were required to fast for one day on Yom Kippur each year. A day began at sunset and ended at sunset the next day, according to the Jewish calendar. God taught the Jews to count their days, so the evening and the morning were the first day, Genesis 1 verse 5. Plan to start your fast when the sun sets, or maybe just before sunset. This means you will skip the normal evening meal, then skip breakfast and lunch the next day. After the sun sets, most Jews broke their fast by eating a normal meal. Fasting with a companion. Even though private prayer and fasting are the foundation of all intercession, if you have never walked this path before, you might want to start your fasting journey with another person. If you are fasting for a specific answer to prayer, invite someone to pray and fast with you. There is strength in numbers. Jesus said, Matthew 18 verses 18 to 19, "Truly I tell you, whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven. Again, truly I tell you, that if two of you on earth agree about anything you ask for, it will be done for them by my Father in heaven." These verses are not just about prayer. They are also about the commitment we make in agreement with another person. Think of it this way. When you plan a vacation with another person, it's more memorable if you plan, dream, and share experiences together. When you share your vacation with another person, you probably enjoy it more. The same is true for fasting. When you share the experience of fasting and praying together, your prayers are likely to be more focused. Fasting with another person, on the other hand, has additional benefits. You have someone to discuss your doubts, questions, and fears with. If fasting intimidates you, the strength of another person can help you overcome it. You can always call each other for advice and to check how it's going. This phone call might give you the motivation you need to keep going. Don't forget the celebration. When you climb a mountain alone, you're doing it to prove something to yourself, and the victory is solely yours. But when you climb with others, you have many people to celebrate with. When you reach the top, you celebrate, embrace, and then return to tell everyone about your victory. When you finish the fast, you can rejoice together. Simply being together makes the taste of victory even sweeter. Another advantage of fasting with a friend is that it establishes accountability. You'll be less tempted to eat a snack or break your fast if you know a friend is aware of your fasting. Perhaps you've already run or walked for health with a friend. If so, you understand how having a partner can help you stay committed when things get tough. If you are strong, you might not need someone to help with accountability, but if you're not, teaming up with someone in the same boat can be beneficial. Fasting with purpose. When you're preparing to fast, look deep within your heart to discover why you're fasting. There are countless reasons for fasting, which we will discuss. You might already have a reason. When young David faced Goliath, no other Israeli soldier wanted to confront the giant. They not only refused to fight Goliath, but each gave David a different reason to avoid the battle. However, David was undeterred. He had a compelling reason to fight that particular giant. It's not just about praying and fasting. We fast for a reason. Are you willing to fast and give up your pleasures? Make a list of your causes. Write them down on paper so you can see them with your own eyes. When you keep a cause only in your mind, it can become blurry or vague. You might have a general idea of why you should fast now, but take time to write down your reasons. This will sharpen your focus. If you see it written, plan everything. Don't enter your fast casually or with a careless attitude. Plan to succeed. If you don't, you're likely to fail. Don't participate in a fast just to see how far you can go. I'll try until I get hungry, some people have said about fasting. They then give up at the first sign of discomfort. Make a firm commitment to fast for a day, regardless of the circumstances. You've moved from thinking about fasting and wanting to be more spiritual to taking the next step and committing to seek God for your cause. You are committed to fast, based on God's grace and help. Types of fasts. The absolute fast. This is a fast where you eliminate all food and water. Paul underwent this type of fast for 3 days after seeing the Lord Jesus on the road to Damascus and being struck with blindness. Acts 9 verse 9 states, "And he, Paul, was without sight for 3 days and neither ate nor drank." For your first fast, do not undertake the absolute fast. This fast is intended for those who are deeply distressed or are fasting to resolve a severe problem, such as the deliverance from an addiction or protection against a spiritual adversary. The normal fast. During this fast, you avoid all solid food and drink only liquids. This fast is most often used in the Bible to refer to people who ate no solid food. The matter of drinking liquids is often left out. In those days, Jesus, ate nothing, and at the end of them he was hungry. Luke 4 verse 2. There is no mention of Jesus drinking liquids. When people fast, what do they drink? Many cut out pleasurable drinks like soda and various types of fruit juices. This corresponds to the Old Testament description of them afflicting themselves and fasting, Isaiah 58 verse 3. The partial fast. In this fast, you eliminate certain liquids or solids, but not all. This is also known as the Daniel fast, because he would not eat from the king's table but insisted in Daniel 1 verse 12. Please test your servants for 10 days. Give us nothing but vegetables to eat and water to drink. The fast did not harm Daniel or his friends. At another time, Daniel reflected the spirit of the partial fast in Daniel 10 verse 3. I ate no choice food, no meat or wine touched my lips, and I used no lotions until the 3 weeks were over. This partial fast specifies what Daniel avoided. Number 1, pleasant foods, similar to our donuts or cakes, a dessert fast. Number 2, meat, a meat-free diet. And number 3, wine, anything that is pleasurable or brings joy. John Wesley's fast. As the founder and leader of the great Methodist movement, John Wesley called all his circuit preachers to the new chapel or to London for a conference every 2 or 3 months. To prepare spiritually for the conference, Wesley fasted for 10 days before each meeting, consuming only natural, whole-grain bread and drinking water. Wesley fasted and prayed for spiritual power to influence his ministries at these meetings. Everyone agrees that these Methodist preachers left the conference with a resolve to change the world. These preachers established the largest Protestant denomination in the world, a reflection of God's honor to Wesley's spiritual dedication to fasting and prayer. The rotation fast. This fast is rarely used in Christian circles, as it is primarily used for medical purposes, mainly to determine a person's reaction or allergy to specific food groups. To cleanse their system, the patient usually undertakes a normal or absolute fast for 1 day. Then for 6 days, only one new food group is introduced and consumed each day, rotating among the food groups. This helps to determine which food is causing a person's physical problem through elimination and exclusion. Choosing a fast. When preparing to fast, several factors need to be considered. Consider your specific situation before deciding on the best approach for you. Here are some ideas. First-time fasting factor. As mentioned earlier, if this is your first fast, I recommend starting with the 1-day Yom Kippur fast. If you wish to fast for a longer period of time to address a serious or ongoing issue, perhaps fasting 1 day a week for 3 weeks might be preferable to starting with a 3-day fast. Remember, if this is your first fast, you are embarking on an unfamiliar journey. You should proceed with caution, as you are learning new skills and attitudes for both your body and soul. Your first fast should be a normal fast, where you eat nothing and only consume liquids for one day. This practice will help train your body to not react negatively if you later eliminate both food and liquid. Matching factor: you should try to match the reason for your fast to the type of fast. Choose a normal fast for a routine request. Choose a fast with more stringent requirements for a more serious problem. Comfort factor: you should feel at peace with both the duration and the type of fast. Obviously, when deciding what you will eliminate when praying, you should not doubt yourself, nor should you feel guilty for doing something wrong. Choose a type of fast that allows you to be comfortable with your decision. Timing factor: a variety of factors influence your decision to fast or the duration of your fast. You should think about your weekly schedule. Which days of the week are not suitable for fasting? What special event is coming up when fasting is not advisable? Thanksgiving, Christmas, weddings, etc. Never start a fast with a long fast, as you have no idea what to expect from your body or how you will react emotionally. A one-day fast is very manageable. Whatever fast you choose as your first, keep in mind that it is a leap of faith. God sees your heart and will reward you accordingly. Prayer. May God grant us the wisdom to understand the spiritual purpose and benefits of fasting, reminding us that it is not the abstention from food alone that brings us closer to Him, but the sincerity of our heart and the pursuit of a deeper connection through prayer. May we fast not for visibility to the eyes of others, but for visibility to the heart of God, who sees in secret and rewards openly. We thank the Lord for the strength and discipline that fasting provides, teaching us to depend more on Him and less on ourselves. Amen. If this content was valuable to you, I ask for your support with your subscription so that you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. Together, we can enlighten more minds and expand our understanding. Thank you for being here, and may God bless you.